Hi everybody, I thought I'd do something a little bit different tonight, and instead of writing a blog, I thought I'd just sit here and talk to you. Since I want to do public speaking, I thought it would be good practice for me, and anyway, I think it's a little bit more intimate and personal when I do it this way. So I'm going to do some speeches and blogs and video blogs every once in a while instead of writing, just so you can know a little bit more about who I am and what I'm all about. When I've done speeches in the past, I've talked about my history with Asperger's. You probably read some of it on my page if you've been reading my blog. I wasn't diagnosed with Asperger's until I was 32 years old. Or was I 31? 31 or 32, I don't remember. I think it's been 2 years. Anyway, I grew up, as I mentioned on my blog, raised as a girl even though I identify as male, and not able to explain what it was that I was. And part of that was that I also had undiagnosed Asperger's. As a child, I was quote unquote normal. I read early. I taught myself to read when I was 4. By the time that I was in first grade, I was reading on a near college level. And I did well in school, and the only problem seemed to be that I just didn't have any friends. And because, I believe, because I was socialized as female, but I could be wrong about that, nobody caught that there was anything wrong. They just figured that I was a loner, or that I just didn't want friends, or that I just was happier just reading or doing my own thing. And to an extent, I guess that was true, because I really didn't think about it. I really did like to read. I really did live in my own world. I had plenty of imaginary friends to keep me company. I always read books and was best friends with the people in my books, and that's a habit that's stuck with me to adulthood, so in a way, I guess I did seem like an unhappy child until I was about 11 or 12, which is also coincidentally when I started becoming more aware of my maleness and then repressing it. And around that time, I started being very lonely and depressed, and I couldn't figure out how to make friends. And I went to middle school, and things didn't get any better, and kids picked on me. And I thought, okay, I'll go to high school, and it'll be better. Got to high school, and I still didn't have any friends, and kids still picked on me. And I was probably one of the only people in my classes that wasn't dating, and that seemed like a big thing that I just wasn't sure I had any interest in, or I didn't know how to go about it, and there was nobody I really liked except for this one guy who I had a huge crush on, and I had no way to tell whether he liked me or he didn't, so I spent all my time obsessing about him and writing about him in my diary, and half the time I thought that maybe it would go somewhere, and half the time I thought it wouldn't. And that was my high school relationship. So, a lot of that could have been made a little bit easier if I'd known I had Asperger's and I'd known I was trans. I try not to dwell on the past, but, things just would have been easier if people knew who I was. I was never given any help with my focusing problems because people weren't really aware that that's what was going on. I was always being told to stop daydreaming. I was always being told to stop staring into space. I did well at some subjects and horribly at others. I had organizational problems, and I ended up not in honor science in junior high, not because I couldn't do the work, but because I couldn't keep track of my work, so I didn't turn anything in, and so I received failing grades. I always had huge problems with organization from the time I was little. Once when I was in second grade, I was kept after school to clean out my desk, and I didn't know how to make it organized. And I kept making it worse, so the teacher would have kept me there forever if my parents hadn't come in and said it was time for me to go home. Uh, and my family just figured that's just you. You're just disorganized. You're just messy. You just have tantrums, and that's just the way it is. And I don't think they knew what to do, and so I don't hold it against them. But looking back now as an adult, I can see all the signs of everything that I needed and didn't get. To this day, I have trouble focusing sometimes. I've taught myself some accommodations, like when I'm writing and I can't focus, sometimes I'll use a template that I made up on Word that has boxes on it, 4 boxes, so I can write small amounts so that I don't get overwhelmed. Sometimes I have to break tasks up into tiny little pieces so that I won't get overwhelmed, and I figured out how to do all that on my own. I use visual schedules a lot. I might upload a visual schedule to the blog or show you a picture of one sometime, because that helps me keep my time managed. And that's pretty much what I've done to help myself succeed. I haven't been terribly successful financially because I'm in a very difficult field and I'm not really sure what to do, but I'm learning how to make more money and how to make the contacts that I need to make. And I'm going to be moving to New York, and that's going to be an interesting experience. I can't wait until I'm in New York and I can vlog and do video vlogs for you about people with a person with Asperger's living in the heart of the city and succeeding. That's going to be exciting for me. I'm a little bit nervous because of all of the sounds and stuff in New York, and because there are people who are dishonest and will try to steal money from you or trick you out of money. And I'm not stupid, obviously, but with Asperger's, sometimes I have a tendency to be a little bit more gullible than other people, and so that can be a little bit nerve wracking. But I know I have the strength to do this. I know it's what I'm meant to do, so that's what I'm going to do. Um, Not really sure what else all I wanted to tell you tonight. I just kind of put on the camera and decided to let it ramble, to let myself ramble, just because I wanted to do something different. Usually, when I speak in front of a parents group, I have an agenda where I tell my whole life story and answer their questions and explain what it's like to have Asperger's in more depth. I don't really feel like going into all that tonight because you guys had asked for that, and because I feel like I'm starting to sound too negative. I'm like, oh, this happened, and this happened, but that's not really how I am and not how I want to be. So I just wanted to touch base and say hello for a few minutes, and I always wanted to post something on this blog, and I really didn't have any idea what to post, so I figured I might as well give you the pleasure of my company for a little while. I guess I could talk about what some of my obsessions are. No Asperger's people have obsessions, and you might be interested to know some of mine. Don't know if you can see it because I can't see my computer screen right now because I'm looking at my screensaver, which shows moving through space like through a wormhole or something like that. Very Doctor Who or Torchwood like. And that's my main obsession is Torchwood. You probably can see my Captain Jack picture in the background. That's why I wasn't sure if you could see or not. Very obsessed with Torchwood, especially with Captain Jack. Obviously, uh, you probably figured that out, that that's part of the reason why one of my names is Jack. Not the whole reason, but I identify for a lot. Let's see what else. Very obsessed with music. I listen to music all the time. I tend to get stuck on one artist, listen to everything they've done, and read as many biographies of them as I can get my hands on. Right now, I'm very much into Don Williams. I've also gone through a huge John Lennon phase, and I will be a John Lennon fan until the day I die. And I was born a John Lennon fan, and I always will be one. Um, Elton John also, and of course John Barrowman's covers of show music. Um, those are some of my main obsessions. Usually, when I do a video, I sing something, even though I don't think I'm the best singer in the world. I do enjoy it, so I usually sing something, but I don't have anything picked out tonight. So that's about it. Um, Next time I do a video, I'm gonna print out my first chapter of my new story and read it for everybody so you can all hear me read and hear what I'm about and what I'm trying to do. But for right now, I just want to say hello and thank you for listening, and I will talk to you later.